It does look like a tiny vagina. Thank you. Next. Pre-wound bobbins. I wore this to one party and one of the sleeves just came off. Hello, my name's Leena and I have somewhat of a problem with procrastination in that I have a huge pile of clothes that have like a tiny thing wrong with them, like a tiny thing broken, something that I kind of know how to fix but have honestly not got round to in the whole of 2021, and they're all starting to sing at me, say something, I'm giving up on you. So since it is 2022, kind of soon, I thought I would take this opportunity to get out of my weird brain space where I'm convinced that I need like a whole day free to get through these tasks, but they're like non-urgent tasks, but they are kind of key, and the longer they go on, the less use I get out of the clothes I already own, and the more tempted I am to buy new clothes. No, planet. Dying. Come on, Leena, head in the game. So I just simply cannot let 2022 start without at least attempting to fix these items. So I have 5 items in front of me, and I thought because maybe you have been procrastinating from mending your clothes, or you don't feel confident that you have any kind of ability or understanding of how to fix your clothes, you can come and fix my clothes along with me, see what I do, see what I fail at, and if you have any projects that you have been procrastinating from this year, maybe get out that project right now and we can sit together and do them. It's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. So I'm going to chat you through each of the 5 projects, and then I'm going to show you me fixing them, maybe a little fashion show at the end. So let's go. The first one I've been procrastinating from doing for approximately 3 or 4 months is reattaching a button. Yeah, you heard me. Reattaching a button. You have seen this waistcoat in a few videos. I have a Mean Girls video where I wear it. It's very fun. But this gold button has been sitting on my window shelf for months now, and I've even worn it without the button. Like, that's what's silly, is I so don't want to just get my sewing kit out and sew this button on that I've just ignored it as an issue. I've sewn buttons on before like this, admittedly not like this one. I usually do the crisscrossy ones, but this isn't out of my wheelhouse. Let's see how fast I can do it. Okay, so for this one I've just grabbed this plait of extra threads that I own. Does anybody else have these? You like buy them and then it means it has like kind of any colour in it. So I'm gonna pull out what looks like a black thread to me. I've got a rather massive needle because I'm rubbish at threading threads, and this project doesn't need anything fancy. Instead of doing any kind of fancy tie on these kind of things, I literally just do this, wind the thread around my finger a few times, and then I just roll the thread off my finger and pull. Just becomes a nice little knot. If you're the person wearing the thing that you're fixing, you're not gonna be bothered with this. This is fine. And it stays quite easily without you having to do loads of double threading and loads of complicated shit. I can see where life went awry on this waistcoat. I can see exactly where the button came from as well, so I don't need to do any measuring. And let's see how long this takes me. Ready, steady, go. Okay, that took me almost 3 minutes, 2 minutes 43 seconds. Wow, 4 months, hey, of procrastinating. Cool. So all I need to do is snip the extra threads off here. I've tied it off. Looks pretty sturdy to me. Thank you, next. Thank you, next. The next project that I have been putting off forever is this beautiful pair of Lucy and Yak dungarees that I love. They're really comfy, and especially as Christmas is coming up, they're going to be real useful for keeping those potatoes in under my skin, in my belly. But look at that thigh power. These have been in a mess for years and they really deserve some love. My thighs are the King Kong of the fabric community and they destroy everything in their path. This is the situation we're working with. But I have done this before. I simply just got some iron-on patches from eBay that I can just iron on to these. That's how easy it is. Let's get on with it. Hello and welcome to the ironing station. Actually, I think I need to get you a bit closer, don't I? Come in. Okay, so here, fellow surgeons, is the issue. I've got this black patch that's supposed to go over holes, okay? But this hole is so big that there's not that much fabric for it to cling to, and I'm worried that if I iron it down, it's gonna stick to whatever is underneath it that should be in this hole. Does that make sense? Because this is a very shiny side. So my thoughts were, what if I got another bit of this scrap fabric and I threaded it down the leg. Sorry, sir. Sorry, you know, don't worry, I won't prick you. Threaded it down this leg. I don't know if this is a thing that people do in sewing. I'm literally just making it up, but this seems to make sense to me. If I lay that down in the hole, then the sticky iron-on side of this patch will have something to stick to, and then maybe afterwards I can either trim around the back of here, or maybe I'll sew it so I give it a bit more reinforcement. I'm just talking you through what my plans are. Those are my plans so far. I've got the iron ready. This is a very rickety ironing board, but I'm just going to iron it on here and hope for the best. I've also noticed that the hole is on a seam, so I'm gonna try and position the patch so it doesn't interfere with that seam too much, but oh, I'm not sure. At least I'll make it point in that direction. The instructions aren't in words, but if I'm not mistaken, that just means wiggle for 45 seconds, hold for 25 seconds, cool for 5 minutes. Let's try it. If the wire of your iron doesn't stretch, just unplug it and it'll stay hot for a while. It's fine. We only need like a minute, don't we? Okay. Okay, I was wrong. This means heat it up for 45 seconds, then put the patch on for 25 seconds. Got it, got it. Cool. Okay, in theory, I should probably wait the 5 minutes to pause and see if this has worked, but I'm Danger Mouse, so I'm just gonna get on with the other leg while this is cooling and see if we're successful or if commiserations are in order. Okay, RE, my harebrained idea of saving this crotch. This is what the trousers look like on the inside. This is the reinforced fabric that I've got. Now I'm actually quite happy with the way that's stuck on. I don't think it does need to be sewn. So I'm just gonna trim around these, and this will be the kind of blushing cheeks that only I will see when I put my trousers down. Nobody else is gonna see it. Let's see. Just try not to cut another hole in the dungarees while I do this, because that would be a little bit counterintuitive. Project 3. Now we're moving into slightly more challenging territory, unfamiliar, if you will. This is a pair of jeans. They have a clasp like this. It's like a little metal flat hook, and in yesteryears, in times gone by, it had another hook that went on like that, and everything was great. That hook left me. I don't know why. They didn't give notice. They just got on the bus to Nashville and never looked back. So I bought these hemline things from my local haberdashery, and it does say no sewing needed. I'm not actually sure how you attach these, but I am excited by the prospect of making them adjustable with 3 hooks. So depending on how many mince pies I eat this Christmas, I can adjust as is fitting. So let's try it. Let's read the instructions and see how we get on with these. Oh, hey, hi. So after a very small amount of inspection, it seems that what I have bought is a waist extender. That means that a waist that usually hooks like this bit could have hooked onto here, and then somebody would have been able to make a bigger waist. Does that make sense? However, I don't need it for that purpose. I'm missing this. So I need to just sew it on, but it's really thick material. Like, that is not gonna fit in my sewing machine. So I think I'm just gonna have to do it by hand. Luckily, Spotify just told me that Pink's Misunderstood is 20 years old. So I think I'm just gonna listen to that and just see how long this takes me and just accept the journey. It might be a very long time, but I know that if I just line it up with the zipper, it's not gonna show that much, and it is gonna be really secure. It's just that, it was a longer project than I thought, but now I'm here. No fear, let's go. So admittedly, that was a little bit of a slog. I was hammering the needle through the 5 layers of denim by the end of it. It took me about 31 minutes, which isn't bad considering now I get to keep these jeans forever. But this is how it looks. It doesn't look too bad. I basically just did like a loop stitch in a black kind of navy thread the whole way around, and now it's on like that. So there is a little bit of visible mending there, but I'm not really that bothered about that. And woohoo! Time to put these jeans on. Now, project 4 is a similar problem to project 2. My thighs, what won't they eateth? But this crotch hole is in a pair of weird patchwork silky dungarees I actually got when I was at uni, but I still love them. And I haven't worn them properly in years because of that. There are also a few holes that just need a little bit of hand sewing love. That will be okay. But the crotch, I wasn't sure how to fix because obviously you can't just buy an iron-on patch off the internet for these. But I do have this scrap material, and even though it's not the same fabric, I don't think I'd attempt to fix this with silk fabric. I think it needs something heavier. So this is a really strong kind of tartan, but it's in similar colours. So I'd be okay with that happening, and it is a patchwork. It's in the theme of the dungarees anyway because the dungarees are patchwork. So I'm hoping I can work out a way to do this. Let's see how we do. Okay, so this one is a good old-fashioned hole in the crotch, right in the center of the universe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these inside out, and then I'm going to pin this to that and then sew around it. That's literally the whole plan. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so this is what the finished crotch looks like. A sentence I have to say I never foresaw myself saying on the internet. Yes, if you look closely, it does look like a tiny vagina, but it is covering a tiny vagina. No. But the point is, you won't get a flash of my actual floof when I wear it. And I think it doesn't really draw attention to itself. It's just a kind of extra bit of fabric there that one would only see if I really opened my legs at them. So now I'm not going to get a draft, and these are, again, proclaimed legal and decent for me to wear in public. That's what matters, and I have done that. Next. And then finally, my most recent victim of my procrastination is this beautiful Selkie style dress. I got it off Depop. The person I bought it off seems to have exactly the same body as me, and she made this dress herself, which is so cool, and I was so excited to. She made it for a wedding, I think she was telling me in the DMs, and I was so excited to like have it after her, seeing as she'd made it for herself. I think it's really unique. I love the fabric, but something went a little bit awry when she was making the sleeves, and I wore this to one party and one of the sleeves just came off, which I styled out on the night. I did a one shoulder and it was fine, but I'd love to fix this up, and there are some kind of messy hems going on as well. So I'm not familiar with dressmaking. I think that this will be straightforward, but how is one to know? And because it's in quite a specific colour, I think it's going to be a little bit harder than all the other ones. It's a bright colour, so it's going to be obvious if I get it wrong. But I have confidence in sunshine. I have confidence in rain. Okay, let's go. Let's try. We come to the final casualty in Leena's sewing A&E, and that is the yellow dress. Now these sleeves, when they're on, kind of come into a square shape, but it actually means that they are only attached at one seam right here. Do you see? So I'm just going to pin the other arm on and sew it along there under the armpit. However, this task involves me doing my least favourite part of sewing, which is threading the sewing machine. A thing that I have done, but every time I have to do it again, I have to reteach myself. Now I'm gonna need your generous grace for this decision and none of your judgment. I have these pre-wound bobbins that I got free with the sewing machine. And as you can see, neither of them are technically good matches for the dress, but to me, they're close enough that I'm gonna thread them together, one at the top, one at the bottom, and they're going to form the main part of the stitch, just because What I'm stitching is under my armpit, and I honestly don't own a thread in that colour, and I don't know when I'll need thread that colour again. So for me, as a learner, I think that's a valid option, and if I want to unpick it and sew it again in a later life in which I'm better at sewing, I'll do that. But for now, I just want the dress to be functional, and I'm going to be wearing it to parties, and surely at parties I should be around friends. So if they say, hey, why is the stitching in your armpit lime green? I can tell them I'm not going to get chucked out the party for it. Who looks at some... Anyway, I'm talking myself into it. Let's just rethread the sewing machine and get on with it, Leena. I was concentrating so hard that I forgot to film the time lapse of that, but that can only be a good sign, right? I was immersed in my art. I can confirm that that is basically invisible. The only place that you can see that lime green thread is there. So again, that's the perfectionism being like, oh no, I've got to get exactly the right colour thread, but actually most of the time it doesn't show. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Let's see how it looks on, I guess. Thank you so much for watching. If you got round to doing something while watching this video, let me know what you did below. I'd love to hear. And the next time you see me is gonna be for Vlogmas. So put it in your diaries, 1st of December. I'm gonna be uploading a video every day between the 1st and the 24th of December. So please tune in for that. I have been staving off all of my worst impulses for procrastination to get all those videos ready for you. So I really hope you like them. Thank you so much to the Gumption Club who tip me per video to make sure these videos keep happening. The Gumption Club will not be charged extra for the Vlogmas, don't worry, you'll pay the same amount as you usually do. It's just a gift from me to you. Here are some other videos you might like or find helpful if you liked this one. Thank you so much for watching. Frogsnog out.